All right, so we're going to be doing matrices with this chapter 6 unit. So chapter 6.1 is what we're doing. And it's all starting with systems of equations. The crazy thing is that I'm not about to dig into this in like a deep format. I'm literally going to tell you what you need to know. Okay. The most important pieces for you to be successful in the courses after college algebra and to be successful on our final exam, which is totally in a couple of days. So a linear equation, a system of equations is two or more equations that work together. Okay. That's the definition of a system of equations. They work together. Now, a solution to a system is basically a coordinate point that works in both equations. Or in other words, makes both equations true. You probably have done these before. You were first introduced to systems of equations in Algebra 1. Okay, it's basically when you have two equations and you're looking at a common point that they both have. So a solution, another way to write a solution is a common point. Okay. Mind y'all, my eyes are totally not doing what they're supposed to do. So if I write something that you don't understand, I'm literally just writing. I'm not even looking. So please tell me so I can redo it. Okay. There's two different, like, let's think of a line, okay? A line is a straight line. I don't even know the definition. It's a collection of points that end up in a straight, like that. So let's say that's line 1. Line 2 could also be like this. What kind of lines are those? If my brain was doing right and my hand was like pretty straight, what kind of lines what would we say those are?
Parallel.
Thank you. Do they ever have any points together?
No.
No, they don't have any points in common. Like the points on this line will never touch the points on this line. So those points never touch. I mean, those lines never touch. And because the lines never touch, they have no common points. Because they have no common points, that means no solution. So if you ever have a set of parallel lines and they say, what's the solution? There is no solution because they never touch. Y'all gotta kind of talk to me. Somebody managed the chat for me because I don't know. Oh, y'all talking about croissants. Lord Jesus. Okay. I'm thinking y'all over here talking about some math. I'm not mad at y'all. I want a croissant too. Okay. I got a question, and this seems really weird, but what color is this stuff I'm writing in right here? Is this blue?
Yeah, it's like a light blue. I mean, the bracket that you wrote is kind of green, but the words are in blue.
Oh, okay. I can't see y'all, so this is crazy. Anyway, you never know how important one of your senses are until you don't have it no more. Okay. So another option is that the line could be right here and another one could come out and be like, oh, you know what? Dang it, what am I doing? Another one could come off and cross it. Now, do these lines have anything in common? Yes. They cross how many times? A total of 1 cross. If they cross 1 time, that means they have 1 solution. And the way we write our solution is like X, Y. Because you write what the X is and what the Y is both. Can anybody else think of one other option that we would have when we talk about systems of equations? We got two lines never touching. We got two lines that cross one time. Is there any other option?
Just like a
Two
regular
lines.
constant line going to the origin.
Okay, say it again.
Like a constant line going to the origin.
Okay, but that's only one line. So what other line is? Because remember, systems of equations is two or more lines.
Two lines that run on top of each other.
Yeah, so like let's say it don't matter if it's through the origin, it totally could be through the origin, okay? But let's just say you got a line like that, and then you got another one that is definitely not gonna work because I really cannot see. Is let's say the other one come right on top of it. That was horrible. Anyway, y'all get the point. If it's right on top of it, how many times do they touch?
Infinitely.
Yes, touch all the time. That's infinite. Infinite. That's wrong. Anyway, go with me. Infinite solutions. That's how many times they touch. So that's how many solutions they have. So these are the three options in terms of how lines can interact with each other. Okay. That's the overview of this whole lesson. Now, there's different things that the homework is going to ask you to do. It's going to say evaluate the expression. Evaluating the expression when it's like this, that means that 2 is X, 3 is Y. So you just come in here and you say 2 is X, 3 is Y, and you solve 4 minus 9, which is -5. So F of 2, 3 equals -5. You might have a question on your homework like that. I don't think this is difficult. I think this is pretty straightforward. Substitute the X value, substitute the Y value, and solve. Now, just because I think it's easy don't mean that it's really easy. So y'all tell me if there's something that does not make sense or a question you think you could come up with that might not come through. All right. And then it's like, for sure, this might be a question. They'll say, figure out which one of these is a solution. So you're going to go in and you're going to say, okay, well, for the first one, this is X, this is Y. So I'm going to plug in -3 for X. And for Y, I'm going to plug in 5. And it better equal 8. I'm going to also check the second equation because remember, it got to work in both equations for it to be a solution. Make sure you do it right too. 9 times 5 equal -69. So this -27 plus 35 equal 8. And yeah, that's 8. 8 equals 8. Check, it worked. And then we got -24 minus 45. Is that -69? Yeah, that's -69. It works. So this is a solution.
So, would you have to plug in, like, say 4 and -4 into the top equation, or you just choose like one or the other and try to see if it's right? You know what I mean?
So you checking both of them. So I just checked the first one. Now I'm about to check the second one.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I checked -3, 5 in both equations. I'm about to check for -4 in both equations. That's the only way a solution is a solution is if it works in both equations. So for 9 negative, you put in 4 for X, 7 times -4. And so we get 36 minus 28. That's 8. That works. And then we say 8 times 4 minus 9 times 4, -4, equal -69. So I get 32 plus 36 That does not equal negative 69. So 4 negative 4 is not a solution. Even though it worked in one of them, it didn't work in the other one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool beans. Hold on, yeah. Okay. So those are the different types of problems that is just like, can you solve this? Could you do these in a calculator? Absolutely, y'all. Absolutely. And I'm here for the calculator. Now, before I dig into this calculator, because once I pull it out, I'm pretty much not gonna put it back. Who does not have one? Who does not have an 84? Actually, maybe you don't want to put yourself out there like that. Put in the chat if you do have an 84. Because once I pick up this calculator, I'm about to show you how to do this entire homework unit with the calculator. If you do not have one, now is the perfect time to get you one from the ACC library, okay? Now, not every one of them is created equal. So let me stop sharing that. And I want to make sure y'all have the stuff that you're gonna need to actually do this. So open up your calculator and go to apps and go down. Oh, let me see if that one. Yeah. Okay. Go to apps. See if you have the one that I used last time, number 9. It might not be number 9 on your calculator, but see if you have the one that's Polysmithl 2. PLYSMLT 2. You have that one?
I don't. All I have is number 1, finance. That's it.
Okay. So, okay, tell me who does not have this one. Mel does not have this one. Who else?
I don't have that one either.
Okay. So did y'all buy your calculators or y'all rented them?
I rented mine from an ACC campus.
Okay. Taylor, you too?
I bought mine
Okay, so
like off of someone else. So
do y'all have a cord that will allow you to plug into your computer so I can give you this this app?
yes.
You have a cord. Mel, did yours come with a cord?
And no, it didn't.
Okay.
But it has like a place for it, but it didn't come with a cord.
Gotcha. Okay, so getting this app is gonna make all of this way easier. The only way to get this app is to have the cord that plugs into the top of the calculator, and then you plug into your computer and you just like transfer it. You know what I'm saying? It's like something you can just get off the internet. I can send this to y'all. Mel, you and I can meet up and I can give it to you, or you can use one of my calculators. We could figure it out to where you have this app. Okay. Or I might even be able to give you this application that I'm using. I just don't know. We'll work it out, okay?
Okay.
But this this app allows you to solve any system of equations. So the second option, once you're in the app, so Taylor and Mel, y'all follow along with this, and we'll get you to be able to practice it a little later. Number 2 is called the simultaneous equation solver. All that means is systems of equations. Because remember, they work together. That's the word simultaneous. That's what that means. Okay. So you'll go into the apps, choose the Polysmithl 2 or whatever, and choose the simultaneous equation solver. Y'all all got to follow me along, because if I go too fast, y'all gonna be like, what's she doing?
So whenever I did it, I clicked the poly whatever, then it just took me to like a big screen saying polynomial root finder and simultaneous equation solver. Like as
Okay,
if
so
it just
you
started.
you probably don't have the second version of the app, so it may be a little different, but choose the simultaneous equation solver.
Whenever
Okay.
you're saying Polysmithl, I think that actually means poly simultaneous. SMLT is an abbreviation for simultaneous.
Yeah, it is. It is. And poly is an abbreviation for polynomial. So I'm just being ridiculous when I say that. But yes, that's the name of the app. Okay. So Sally, do you get to this point ever?
Yes, I just got here. Yeah.
All right, cool. So it's questioning, how many equations do you have? Well, we have 2 equations. How many unknown variables do we have? There's 2. There's usually X and Y. So usually we dealing with 2 equations, 2 unknowns. Okay. The rest of this stuff is not necessarily like important. It's just normal instead of scientific notation. Float, meaning we don't want it to round our decimal places for us. Radian and degree, that don't even matter because we're not dealing with any particular type of conic. So go down to next. To get to next, you have to click the word graph because that's the key that is corresponding to that word next. So you get here. Once you get here, you should have 2 equations with 2 unknowns. And I'm going to, let me see if I can make my copy. I'm going really slow, y'all, but it's only because I want y'all to understand this. So the 2 equations that I have for my graph, I'm gonna type in these 2 equations. This 9x plus 7y equal 8, the 8x minus 9y equal negative 69. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna say 9x plus, leave the plus, 7y equal 8. And then in the next one, I'm gonna put 8x, but this time is minus 9y equal negative 69. Make sure you use the negative key for the 69 and the minus key for the operation. And then the bottom number, you can solve it. So just click graph and click solve. And there your answer, negative 3.5. I love it. What you say?
How you got to that first page where it was like where you put in the solutions. I was trying to catch up. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's just do it all over again. Second quit. So if I go to apps, and I choose the polynomial simultaneous solver, I get to this main menu screen. Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay, from your main menu screen, the second option should be simultaneous equation solver.
Yeah, I clicked on that one.
Okay, from there, you get to where you type in your options. The options are, how many equations are we dealing with? 2. How many unknowns are we dealing with? 2. That's really the only thing you need to focus on this page about. And then you click next in the bottom corner, which is corresponding to the graph key. So click graph to choose next. Did that work?
Yes, but instead mine says system matrix and it looks a little different. So let me go ahead and go back and see, because I noticed too, like, should it be in a fraction or a decimal?
I have
Yes,
mine.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have mine on just normal. Let's see.
You have yours on auto. So for my options where it says like auto and decimal, mine says decimal and fraction. I don't have the auto.
Okay, so you can do either one, depending on the problem that you're working with. Right now, either one of those will work, and that's totally fine as well. So you can choose fraction or decimal. Yours may just look a little different because the name of your app, is it Polysmith 2 or just polynomial simultaneous? Because you may not have the second version of the app.
Let me start over and see apps.
Brianna, yours looks exactly like how mine looks, like how it's a system matrix, and it is the poly.
Yeah, mine says Polysmith 2
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Everything else looked normal except for when I click next.
Okay, no problem. One more clarification. Do y'all have a TI-84 Plus?
Yeah, I have
Or-
a TI-84 Plus.
Okay,
Yes.
and it's the color edition or the regular one?
I'm gonna assume it's a regular one.
Okay, so it could be just the addition of the calculator. Long story short, it's the exact same thing, y'all. So literally when you type in your matrix values, you're just gonna put in the coefficients of the X and the Y and then the answer resultant.
I tried it and it gave me a different answer, and it
Okay,
doesn't
no
tell
problem.
me X plus
What I
Y.
need y'all to do for me is
Mhm.
I need y'all to actually show me what your screen looks like so I can tell you what to input.
Here, let me turn on my computer, my screen real quick.
I don't know.
I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, so please let me know if you do.
First off, my eyes are already jacked up, so we'll see.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
so all you're gonna type in are 9, 7, and 8 on the first line. And on the second line, you're gonna put in 8, -9, and -69.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if I put the X or not because I just don't have a spot
No,
where
don't put X's and Y's. And this
Okay.
is a perfect conversation right now for everybody. What they're dealing with is writing it as a matrix. So that's not until unit 2 or until 6.2 or 6.3, but y'all are getting a head start because your calculator is requiring you to do so. So writing it, if you have this version that I'm showing on my screen, perfect. Okay, cool. If you do not have this version of the calculator, then you can write it as a matrix. And the way we do that is we just put the numbers. We don't worry about values at all. The variables, I'm sorry, at all. Once you do that, Sally, what comes out?
For X1, it says 111 divided by 5. And for X2, it says -137 divided by 5.
Okay, so that's wrong.
Right.
Brianna, what did you get when you typed in your values?
So what I was going to say is, Sally, I think you need to change it from fractions to decimals because I changed mine to decimals. I got the right answer in the end. For this,
Well, I don't personally think that it's a decimal or fraction issue. I think the problem is the negative. So Sally, did you for sure put in -9 and -69?
yeah, you have to put the negative and not the minus sign because when I tried the minus sign, it said invalid input. But if you do it with the negative sign instead, you should get the right answer.
You were able to get the right answer?
Yeah, I was able to.
So I have 9, 7, 8 on the first row, then 8, 9, -69 for the
You
second.
should have 8, -9, -69. Because it's -9, so we have to interpret that as a coefficient of -9.
Okay, I got the right answer now.
Okay. So yeah, that's a really great point, and I'm glad that you all have that experience because when we get to 6.3, you'll see how that helps you out a lot. Okay, so am I answering questions for everybody? Because I don't want anybody on here to feel like you still don't know how to use your device. Okay. So Taylor, I will send you the app in an email, and then that way you can just download it and transfer it to your calculator. And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. And then Mel, we'll figure out how to get it to you. I know we're kind of close in proximity, so Round Rock not too far. We'll figure it out. Okay. So let's go to the next type of problem so y'all can see how this may be used. In slide number 4, it really just goes over what I already told you about it being one solution, infinitely many solutions, or no solutions. Are there any questions on that? Like if I were to give you a graph and say how many solutions, would you be able to say 1, none, or infinite based on that knowledge? Okay. So let me make this a little bit bigger. I don't even know what this is. So in example 3, it says classify the system as consistent or inconsistent. We hadn't talked about this vocabulary yet, but I will tell you it's very simple vocabulary. If it has a solution, then it's called consistent. If it has at least one solution, it's consistent. If there is no solution, then it's inconsistent. So if it has at least one, then we consider these consistent systems. So does this have one solution? Yes or no?
Yes.
So therefore it is a consistent solution. And in fact, the system, the solution is here. We can see it on the graph graphically. It's 2, 1. We don't need to use a calculator for that one because all we're doing is looking at it. Where do they cross? They cross at the point 2, 1, so that's your solution. Any questions about that? Okay. Number 3, inconsistent, no solution. They never touch, so it's inconsistent. They never touch, so there's no solution. Any questions? So I am recording this, therefore y'all can go back and watch this if you have any questions while you're doing the homework part. But I think I'm trying to make it so simple that no one has too many questions, you know? Now, we're about to get to a point where the calculator is going to, the test is going to tell you, solve this by substitution, solve this by elimination. If you would like to learn substitution or elimination, I will put a video up for you to learn how to do that. That is something that you were taught in Algebra 1, reinforced in Algebra 2. In college algebra, I am not going to make you solve this by substitution or elimination. Instead, solve it however you want, including using a calculator. This is why this part to me is so simple, because you can use the calculator on whatever. So y'all see all that work that is being done on this screen? You could totally do that if you want to. And I will put a video up, and it ain't gonna be me doing it either. But I will put a video up of y'all learning or reinforcing yourself how to remember to do substitution. But in this class today, before this final exam, we're just gonna use the calculator. So using the calculator, I'm gonna start from scratch and act like I have not showed y'all how to do this at all. Second plus, oh, this is not gonna work. Let me get out of here first. Second, quit, and then I can quit the app by pushing number 6. Okay, I'm gonna clear my calculator. Second plus 7, 1, 2. Okay, and I'm just about to solve this just like I have not taught y'all how to do this at all. First thing I'm gonna do is go to apps, and I'm gonna find the one that is the polynomial simultaneous equation solver. Okay, I'm gonna go to simultaneous equation solver. I'm dealing with 2 equations and 2 unknowns, so I'm gonna go to next. I'm literally gonna only type in numbers, okay? The numbers that I see, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to do this a different way than what I just showed you. So bear with me. 3. Now, my equation, my calculator allows me to change that plus to a minus. But for the sake of Sally and Brianna, I'm gonna leave it as a plus, even though in my equation it has a minus, okay? The way I can compensate for that is in this second box, I'm gonna put in -2. Because plus -2 is the same thing as -2, okay? So I'm gonna just compensate for that, just like they have to do when putting the matrices in and seeing all the numbers as individuals and not necessarily seeing it as a plus or a minus. I'm gonna do the same thing just to show you that it works. Okay, this first coefficient has to be a 1. Do not put in 0, because remember, when there's no number, it's a 1. 5, 13. Are there any questions on the actual numbers that I put into this system? Sally and Brianna, these should be your same numbers: 3, -2, 5, 1, 5, 13.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now I'm gonna do is go solve, which is my graph key. And my answer is 3, 2. And there it is. And you can see that this substitution method will get you the same answer, but that is not the focus of college algebra. Again, this was an Algebra 1 thing, okay? So we're not gonna focus on that. The focus is, can you find a solution? Yes or no?
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So will there ever be a time where we have to try to like find, say like the value of y or the value of x? Or go ahead.
So I think what you're asking me is like, oh, will they just ask you for one of them? Or will they give you a partial equation and you have to solve for the second part? Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
So there definitely may be some cases in that way, but with the method that I'm showing you, you should be able to find both of them. So it's totally going to be okay if they ask you for one versus the other.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure because I got onto question 6 and I was a little confused by the answer, but I just wanted to see if that was like a if that
Yeah,
was that would happen.
yeah. So we'll be good. So of course, the second part is just checking your work. Like plug in that 3 and that 2 and make sure that it does work. And indeed it does. Okay. You can always check your work. Number 5, let's do that one together. And I'm gonna move a little quicker this time, okay? So inside of the app, if I just go to the Y equals button, that's the main menu, I can start all over without going all the way out of the app. All right, I can clear this by clicking the zoom key and I get all back to zeros. And then we just start from there. 2. I'm gonna skip that plus and I'm gonna just type in -3 because I want to follow the same path according to calculators. It doesn't matter. And a -2. -2 in the front. 4 and 4. The calculator will only do what you tell it to do. Okay. So if you start doing some random stuff or you put in the wrong thing, you will get the wrong answer. So make sure you typing it in correctly. Okay. All right. I think I typed mine in correctly, so I'm gonna go ahead and click solve. And I get the answer 2, 2. So the answer is 2, 2. And I can I can check my work by plugging in 2, 2 to each equation and seeing if they actually come out true. Let's get to this number 6 one. Number 6, it says solve. So I'm gonna just use this calculator and do it again. -3, -2, 1. If I'm going too fast, y'all better let me know. -3, +2, -1. And I'm gonna click solve. Oh my gosh, this is weird. Weird stuff. What are we gonna do? I will tell y'all that either means that there's no solution or there's infinitely many solutions. And in this case, there are infinitely many solutions. How do I know the difference? One, these are the same line. The only difference between these two lines is that one was multiplied by -1 to be scaled differently. But these are truly the same line. So if you take that second equation and divide everything by -1, you end up with the same first equation. So I knew that these were the same line before I even put them in. So that means they have infinitely many solutions. But beyond that, this is saying set y to y. Like just let y be whatever y gonna be, okay? Oh, I don't know what I'm doing over here. Hold on. Okay. So this is saying let y be whatever y wants to be. And x is going to be some scale factor of that y, regardless of what you make y equal. So that tells us that it doesn't matter what we make y equal to. You're still going to have some type of x that corresponds to it. And that's why we know it's infinitely many solutions. So when you see something like this pop up, where it's not a whole number and a whole number, you know that it's either infinitely many solutions or no solution. But let's look at what no solution looks like. Y'all ready? Any questions on this one?
No, that definitely makes a lot more sense as to why I was getting that answer. I thought I was doing something wrong at first.
Yeah, it does make you feel that way. Okay, let's keep going. Well, maybe. All right, here we go. Here's another one. So I'm gonna go back to system and clear it out, and let's type it in again. 1, -1. Again, I don't have to type in -1. If you want to just use the minus key with over the plus sign, then that works too. 1, -1, 1, 3. And I'm gonna solve it. Oh my God, my calculator just says no solution. I'm curious to see what your calculator says, Sally or Brianna.
Mine says the same thing.
Perfect. So what's the answer? No solution. Okay, so I mean, I might be overdoing this, but I think this is really simple. If you do not have an 84, you just didn't want to tell me, you need to go get one ASAP. And I ain't talking about going buy it. Just borrow it from the library. This whole unit will be so much easier with it, okay? If y'all anything like me, y'all have been like, man, can we just have this on the test? And I do feel like we can have a majority of this on the test. All right, so let's solve a system of linear equations. So let's again go to system, clear it out. Let's type it in again. 2, -3, 0, 3, -2, -5. And solve. -3, -2. That's my solution. Okay, how y'all feeling? Questions? Jeremy, you ain't said nothing.
Yeah, I gotta go get the calculator because I've been doing the majority of everything pretty much by hand.
Gotcha. Okay, definitely get the calculator and come back and watch this so you know how to do it, because I don't want it to be difficult at all. Here are your favorite questions right here, these applying concept ones. So it's a word problem, yay. The hardest part about the word problem is actually writing the system. Once you get the system, then all you gotta do is use a calculator. Okay, so let me share from the actual empty slide and then we can work on it. So a hotel has 200 rooms. Those whose kitchen facilities rent for, those with kitchen facilities rent for $190 a night, and those without rent for $160 a night. So there's 2 different types of rooms. X, let's say that X is with kitchen, like a little suite, and Y is without kitchen. So total X plus Y room types, there's 200. Everybody understand that? So we got a quantity equation. And then we have a money equation. So how much is the value? The value of the one with the kitchen is $190 each and $160 each for the one without the room. The kitchen. And if you have full occupancy, then you're gonna make $34,100 in revenue. The question is, how many of X, how many of Y do we have? Well, we got a system of equations. All we gotta do is solve it. So, questions? Yeah, go ahead. So using my calculator. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna clear this out. The first equation was 1x, 1y equals 200 rooms. The coefficient for the second one was 190x in terms of value. 160y in terms of value without the kitchen. And we made $34,100 that night. So we had like a dollar equation. Show you type it in right now. You can just click solve. So this tells us that there are 70 rooms with kitchens and 130 without. Any questions?
So that first equation that you ever can input is just basically like the x plus y equals 200. Like that's pretty much like, because in my mind I would feel like that would be wrong to input like 1 + 1 = 200. Like I feel like if I were to be in a test setting and seeing that, I feel like I was wrong for inputting that, but it makes sense. It's just I feel like I would get confused by that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's confusing because you thinking about what does that one equal? It's not one room in one of the other room. It's saying that the number of those rooms counted once and the number of these rooms counted once. Like they're not being multiplied. Like there aren't double this amount of rooms and triple this amount of rooms. There's just this amount of with kitchen and this amount without kitchens. So we're not actually scaling those numbers up by any. So that's why the coefficient is 1, because we're taking the true number of those rooms, not doubling them, tripling them, quadrupling them or anything. So there's no coefficient. I can understand what you're saying. Just understanding what the coefficient represents is really important. Okay. Let's see. There are 2 more examples. So as the price of the product increases, the supply increases. So that makes sense. Like the seller wants to make more money. However, when the price of a product increases, the demand for the product decreases. This is fundamentals of economics. Like we need more gas. So, the price of gas is more expensive. So the sellers are like, hell yeah, let's make some more gas because these people, can get it. And then the people are like, man, I don't even need that gas. I'm about to drive less because gas is too high. So supply and demand, okay? When given a supply and demand equation, the X value is the equilibrium price and the Y value is the equilibrium quantity. So basically what is like your break even? How many of these can I sell so that I sell everything, okay? So when the supply and demand are equal, the number of products that we make and the number of products that we sell are equivalent. Now, do you need to know any of this? Probably. If you're interested in economics and the way inflation is and all of that, and this is the field you're going into, absolutely. If not, then you're like, man, come on. So let's just come on and do this together quickly, okay? The monthly supply of phone charging cables is represented by Y equals 3X, whereas the demand is equal to Y equals 28 minus X, where X is the price in dollars. We have to find when they're both equal to each other. Okay, so we have 2 equations and we just need to know when they're equal to each other. In other words, we need to solve these equations, okay? So the first thing, Y equals 3X, Y equals 28 minus X. This is not in the form that we've been putting into our calculator. So we have to write it in that form. The form is AX plus BY equals C, the constant value. Well, let's take this first equation and put it in that form. The 3X and the Y need to be on the same side. So we can subtract 3X from both sides. And we end up with negative 3X plus Y equals 0. Any questions? In this second equation, put the x on the other side, add x. So x plus y equal 28. And now these two equations can be put into our calculator like we've been doing. Again, there's 10 ways for us to solve this. But for the sake of this class and what we're trying to do, we're just gonna solve it the same way we've been doing, so you don't feel confused. Clear it out. -3. 1. Uh-oh. 0. 1. 1. Oh, so sorry. Hold on, y'all. Ugh. Okay, 1, 1, 28. And solve. 7 and 21. So they told us what x represented. So let's go back to the equation and try to interpret this right. X is the price in dollars. So basically the phone chargers are gonna cost $7. And Y is representing how many of them we sold. So we sold 21 when they were $7 each. And that's the interpretation at the bottom. At this store, the supply and demand are equal when 21 chargers are sold at $7 each. The key part here is identify those equations in the right form, in what we call standard form, where X and Y are on the same side. Any questions? All right, I'm gonna do this last problem. Just so you have an example of it. And then we're going to do attendance and classes over, okay? A student takes out 2 loans totaling $2,000. One loan is at 11%, the other is at 13%. Interest on both equations is compounded annually. The first year interest is $242. Write a system of equations whose solution can be, whose solution is the amount of each loan. So X plus Y equals 2,000 because there are 2 different types of loans and they total to 2,000. The interest equation is 0.11 X, 0.13 Y equals $242. This equation and this equation can be typed into our calculator to solve. And that's all you got to do. When you solve, you'll get the X is 900 and Y equals 1,100. And that's how much money was borrowed at 11% and at 13%. Do y'all understand why the 11% is written as a decimal like that and why the 13% is written as a decimal like that?
Yes.
These equations have to work together in order to be solved. Okay, so that's it. That is it, and that is all. Let's take attendance, and then I'm gonna stop the recording so that this will be one that I'll post. I'll post this online so you can stop and go back and look at it. And I'm not even gonna ask y'all if y'all want me to make a video. I'm gonna go ahead and make one for 6-2, and I'll post that one too.